Shalom, Saints. Today's presentation is Sacrifice and Faith. I hope it will spark your curiosity in learning about our Almighty Yah and to build your personal relationship with Him. Our daily prayer. Hear now and do, Yasharel. Yahuwah our Elohim. Yahuwah is one. And you shall love at Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and all your soul and with all yourself. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Blessed are Adonai and Elohim, King of all time, for giving us life abundantly. Fill in the blanks. Did you ever wonder about the following? Was Isaac just a child when Yahuwah asked Abraham to sacrifice him? Because when I read the Bible, that's the idea that I get. How about Abraham and Sarah? How did they feel being asked when they were so old, in their 90s and 100 years old, before they had their only child? Together, that is. What about Isaac's reaction? If he was a child, did he even understand? Why would Yahuwah ask this of Abraham? These were all my curiosities as I was growing up learning about my Yahuwah. Did you have any of those same questions? Let us pause for a moment and listen to an excerpt from Psalms 37.
Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass they will soon wither, like green plants they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will do this. He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evil. For those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. A little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. But the meek will inherit the land, and enjoy peace and prosperity. The wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them, but the Lord laughs at the wicked.
Once again, I would like to take you on a short journey into sacrifice and faith. Our Elohim is most kind to show us where to find the fillers as we take a look both in the Holy Bible and the book of Jasher. Many disagree with using any other reference but our Holy Bible, but our Father reminds us that it is milk and we must seek for further nourishment. Hence, we must pray to Yah first, then seek and trust in the Holy Spirit, aka the Ruach HaKodesh, to help us find the true answers. As Psalm 37 reminds us to keep faith in all things. So, shall we? Genesis 22, verses 1 through 2 reads, And it came to pass after these things, that God did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham? And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. Some of the words we need to understand from our Holy Bible, and to do that, we need to go to Hebrew language in which the Holy Bible was originally written in by Moses. Let's take a look at the Hebrew word for tempt, for I find that an abrasive word that the modern day translators chose to use in reference to what our Elohim was asking Abraham to do. But then we look at the Hebrew word nasa. Strong's H5253, we see it means to test, try, prove, put to the proof of test. When in comparison to the modern day definition of tempt, we have its meaning being entice or attempt to entice someone to do or acquire something they find attractive but know to be wrong or not beneficial. Thus, as our Yahuwah says, we must always pray to get the spiritual truth of our respective research. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went on to the place of which God had told him. Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder, and worship, and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son, and took the fire in his hand, and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they both went of them together. And they came to the place which God had told them of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld any thy son, thine only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes, and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah-Jireh. And it is said to this day, In the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of the heaven the 2nd time, and said, By myself have I sworn, said the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things that it was told to Abraham.
Scripture was fulfilled which saith, Abraham believed God, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of God.
Abraham's faith in Yahuwah is most wondrous, for he did what was commanded of him by Yahuwah without hesitation and without question. This is faith that is working. As I compare my own shortcomings, I often wonder if I fall short of faith. But, like my Father says, in my weakness, he is made strong. So, I remember Abraham and the countless others of our ancestors and the respective struggles and faith in our Elohim. And as Yahushua did for those in need, I myself remember the 5 loaves of bread and the 2 fishes that fed many. Now we will look at Jasher to fill in the blanks, to see the interactions of Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, and of course Yahuwah our Elohim in preparation to do what he asks of Abraham. Jasher chapter 22 verses 1 through 4 reads, "And Ishmael then rose up and took his wife and his children and his cattle and all belonging to him. And he journeyed from there, and he went to his father in the land of the Philistines. And Abraham related to Ishmael, his son, the transaction with the first wife that Ishmael took, according to what she did. And Ishmael and his children dwelt with Abraham many days in that land. And Abraham dwelt in the land of the Philistines a long time. And the days increased and reached 26 years. And after that Abraham, with his servants and all belonging to him, went from the land of the Philistines and removed to a great distance. And they came near Hebron, and they remained there." Here I was led to focus on time and the age of Isaac. We are looking at Isaac being somewhere around 31 years of age when the entire family of Abraham left from the lands of the Philistines. So unless I missed something, I get 31 years from Isaac's weaning party when he was 5 years old, plus the 26 years they tell us here in Jasher. We get 31 years old. You ask why that's important? Because this is the part that is fill in the blank for our history. If we remain in, quote, just reading the Bible, we may reach a conclusion that Isaac was just a child when YAHUAH asked Abraham to offer him as a sacrifice. Verses 31 through 33 reads, "And Terah, the father of Nahor and Abraham, went and took another wife in his old age, and her name was Pelilah. And she conceived and bare him a son, and he called his name Zobah. And Terah lived 25 years after he begat Zobah. And Terah died in that year, that is, in the 35th year of the birth of Isaac, son of Abraham." Let's notice the age of Isaac. Now we are told he is 35 years old. Verse 40 reads, "And Isaac, the son of Abraham, was growing up in those days, and Abraham his father taught him the way of the Lord, to know the Lord, and the Lord was with him." Verse 40 is a transitional paragraph, or verse, as the preceding paragraphs speak of Abraham's earthly father and brother and their generations. Now we are brought back to focus entirely on Isaac. YAHUAH also shows us that we must generationally continue to teach our children in the ways of our Elohim, so that we may know him and please him.
7 years old, Ishmael his brother was going about with him in the tent. Then Ishmael boasted of himself to Isaac, saying, "I was 13 years old when the Lord spoke to my father to circumcise us, and I did according to the word of the Lord which he spoke to my father. And I gave my soul unto the Lord, and I did not transgress his word which he commanded my father." And Isaac answered Ishmael, saying, "Why dost thou boast to me about this, about a little bit of thy flesh which thou didst take from thy body, concerning which the Lord commanded thee? As the Lord liveth, the God of my father Abraham, if the Lord should say unto my father, Take now thy son Isaac, and bring him up an offering before me, I would not refrain, but I would joyfully accede to it. And the Lord heard the word that Isaac spoke to Ishmael, and it seemed good in the sight of the Lord, and he thought to try Abraham in this matter."
Many lessons are revealed here, from watch what you say and wish for, to YAHUAH does test us all, to making good of what one says. Isaac, like Abraham, is strong in his convictions and love for YAHUAH. I truly believe that in his heart he was ready to sacrifice himself. Which leads us to Matthew 10, verse 39, which reads, "Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it." Jasher 22, verses 46 through 55 reads, And the day arrived when the sons of God came and placed themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with the sons of God before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said to Satan, Why is thy word to me concerning all the children of the earth? And Satan answered the Lord and said, I have seen all the children of the earth who serve thee and remember thee when they require anything from thee. And when thou givest them the thing which they require from thee, they sit at their ease and forsake thee, and they remember thee no more. Hast thou seen Abraham the son of Terah, who at first had no children, and he served thee and erected altars to thee wherever he came, and he brought up offerings upon them, and he proclaimed thy name continually to all the children of the earth? And now that his son Isaac is born to him, he has forsaken thee, and he has made a great feast for all the inhabitants of the land, and the Lord he has forgotten. For amidst all that he has done, he brought thee no offering, neither burnt offering, nor peace offering, neither ox, lamb, nor goat of all that he killed on the day his son was weaned, even from the time of his son's birth till now. Being 37 years, he built no altar before thee, nor brought any offering to thee. For he saw that thou didst give what he requested before thee, and he therefore forsook thee. And the Lord said to Satan, Hast thou thus considered my servant Abraham? For there is none like him upon the earth, a perfect and upright man before me, one that feareth God and avoideth evil. As I live, were I to say unto him, Bring up Isaac thy son before me, he would not withhold him from me. Much more if I told him to bring up a burnt offering before me from his flock or herds. And Satan answered the Lord and said, Speak then now unto Abraham as thou hast said, and thou wilt see whether he will not this day transgress and cast aside thy words. So we see Satan has accused us from the beginning, which he will do again and again, as we see in the chapters of our Holy Bible concerning Job to our present day. I hope this truth, this gemstone that YAHUAH has provided us, will kindle the fire in you, as YAHUAH has said to be holy as he is holy. Okay, saints, we're going to close here today, and the rest will to be continued. So I hope you come back for a continued stroll with our Elohim. We will be looking at Jasher chapter 23 and our Holy Bible regarding Abraham's testing for Isaac to be sacrificed. All the saints, remember, look east and raise your eyes to heaven and pray to YAHUAH and await for our King Yahusha. Till the next time, Shalom.